Faithful one, so unchanging, ageless one, you're my rock of peace, Lord of all, I depend on you. I call out to you again and again. I call out to you again and again.
A pleasant good morning to you. Welcome to Solar Evangelical Ministries Weekly Devotionals. Today's devotion is taken from a book titled Divine Aristocracy. Divine Aristocracy is an exegetical commentary on the book of Ecclesiastes written by Michael Hargreaves, the founder of Solar Ministries. Today's portion comes from Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verses 5 to 9. And I'm also reading from a small snippet of an article by C.S. Lewis called Two Lecturers. Also, the sun rises and the sun sets, and hurrying to its place, it rises there again, blowing towards the south, then turning towards the north. The wind continues swirling along, and on its circular courses the wind returns. All the rivers flow into the sea, yet the sea is not full. To the place where the rivers flow, there they flow again. All things are wearisome. No eye can tell it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor is the ear filled with hearing. What has been is what will be, and what has been done, it is what will be done. So there is nothing new under the sun. Ecclesiastes 1, 5 to 9. And from the small snippet, it reads, "And so, said the lecturer, I end where I began. Evolution, development, the slow struggle upwards and onwards, from crude and incoherent beginnings towards ever-increasing perfection and elaboration. That appears to be the very formula of the whole universe. We see it exemplified in everything we study. The oak comes from the acorn. The giant express engine of today comes from the rocket. The highest achievements of contemporary art are in a continuous line of descent from the rude scratching with which the prehistoric man adorned the wall of his cave. What are the ethics and philosophy of civilized man but an elaboration of his most primitive instincts and savage taboos? Each one of us has grown through slow prenatal stages in which we were at first more like fish than mammals, from a particle of matter too small to be seen. Man himself springs from beasts, the organic from the inorganic. Development is the key word. The march of all things is from lower to higher." The statement is a common belief that in the beginning there was a cosmic sea, and from the sea the gods emerged and began to give form to man, and from man, civilization. The narrative follows that since the beginning of days, man has been on an upward ascent, from traveling on donkeys to riding on airplanes, from the siege engine to the atomic bomb. This is what the world calls progress. Solomon seems skeptical of such endeavors, using an illustration from nature. The sun is a great symbol of enlightenment, which gives light to the world. Any person who lives in a period of rapid technological development can easily be taken advantage of by such a scheme. As a member of the ancient world, Solomon is familiar with the Babylonian Empire and the Apkallu, the great sages that descended from the sky and taught human beings all types of arts, sciences, and constructions, which puzzles some of the brightest minds even today. However, as wickedness increased on the earth, the technology in the hands of human beings filled the earth with blood, causing the imminent extinction of all men. In the book of Genesis, chapter 6, verses 2, we read, "The end of humanity has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence because of them." Then came the great flood, the destruction of the old world, save Noah's family, and the setting of the sun once again. We also read, "Blowing towards the south, then turning towards the north, the wind continues swirling along, and on its circular courses the wind returns." The great winds of revolution, the spirit of the age, likewise blow to the north, bringing with them the promise of a new and better future through the toppling of the old. The tyrant king has now been deposed, or, on a lesser scale, the election of a new government. Now comes the expectation of hundreds of years of peace and prosperity, the typical sort of sayings at every acceptance speech. Such changes are only temporary, as those who replace the tyrants have in turn become more tyrannical. Or, in the case of governments, the successors drift from the ideas of the founders, bringing any meaningful change over the years back to point zero. The infamous French Revolution is a prime example. King Louis XVI and the oppressive bourgeois were overthrown, with the promise of liberation and equity. What followed was a new rulership that was more vicious than its predecessors. Mass executions of aristocrats, clergy, and even other revolutionaries with whom they disagreed. The arrest of persons on mere suspicion, the forced shutdown of churches, denunciation of family, and even genocide in the Vendée region of western France. The one who has a more global perspective on history knows that these revolutionary winds do not produce the lasting change promised, but run on a circular path. The end. Ecclesiastes is one of these books which forces the reader to think about life. It is one of the faculties that have been given to us as humans, which the animals do not possess. When was the last time you thought about your life? Where did you come from? How are you spending your days? And what does your future look like 100 years from now? Are we repeating the cycle of life and death of those who came before us? Or is there something more to the human existence? The answer the Holy Scriptures give to us is that there is a kingdom built by God Himself, in which God's joy and His bountiful blessings are not temporary, but overflow from the throne of God from ages to ages. Those who put their hope in the Lord Jesus Christ would see it. God bless you.
Ageless one, you're my rock of peace, Lord of all, I depend on you. I call out to you again and again. I call out to you again and again. You are my rock in times of trouble. You lift me up when I my hope is in you alone. Faithful one, so unchanging, ageless one, you're my rock of peace, Lord of all, I depend on you. I call out to you again and again. I call out to you again and again. You are my rock in times of trouble. You lift me up when I fall down. All through the storm, your love is the anchor, my hope